Welcome back to the Brothers Grim Dark, everybody. The time is almost upon us for our very first game in our 2026 Blood Bowl Championships. This is the preview for Game 1. We've got Bretonnians facing off against Lizardmen. So that is Glen United facing off against the Chillyville Red Dragons, and it's Rowan facing off against Johnny. So this is going to be bit of a good match, I think. These are two sort of differently facing up teams. I don't think these two players have actually played against each other. Historically, Rowan's had a little bit better time in the championship than Johnny. Both of them went out first round season 1, and last year Rowan went all the way to the final, although Rowan was using his Wood Elves at the time. Johnny has stuck firm with his Lizardmen the whole time. So this is just going to do a little bit of a run through of where I think this game is going to be won and lost for each team. Going forward, when I do these previews, I'll also cover a little bit of how the game was actually won and lost in the previous game. So our next preview, I'll cover the outcome of this game and talk through some of the key points of the game that I think unfolded. But for this, it's our first game of the season, so there is no game to catch up on. So as I say, we've got Bretonnians facing off against Lizardmen here. So the Bretonnians are more of a mid-range team. They cap out at movement 7, but their slowest player is movement 6, so kind of in that middle ground. On the other side though, the Lizardmen, their slowest player is movement 6, and that player is also strength 4, which is very fast for a strength 4 player. And then they have some movement 7 and even some movement 8 on their team as well. And the movement 8 players also are stunty with dodge. It's the skink linemen. So they are going to be key for Johnny. They're that breakout speed, the goal scoring threat. But Rowan team, to counter that, they've got a little bit of a passing game. It's not the best, but it's not bad. You've got a 3+ passer with the passing skill, and you've got a 3+ catcher with the catch skill. So there's some reliability there built in. So let's get to the crunching then. How do these teams face up there? Well, Johnny has 6 source blockers, who, as I said, are strength 4 with movement 6, which is a great combo. To counter that, Rowan has 6 players, all of his knights, that all come with Dauntless. Although there's no strength higher than 3 in Rowan's team, having 6 players with Dauntless going up against something that's only 1 strength higher than them means Rowan only needs to get a 2+ for that Dauntless to come off and for his player to equal those source blockers. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic there. And Rowan also has the skill advantage with a couple of his Grail Knights who have block. So if he can get those Grail Knights and his other players to really start fueling that Dauntless and make sure you can knock down Johnny, who doesn't have any defensive skills on his high strength. He is armor 10, but that's fine. If Rowan can just keep the source on the deck and make sure that they're not hitting him back and he can keep his team intact, that will free up his other players. So he's got his linemen who have the wrestle skill to go potentially skink hunting and try pop the ball out, make sure the skink can't get near the ball. Alternatively, he could leave his linemen on the line with the wrestle skill to try take on the source on their own and leave his high skilled knights to go chasing after the ball and the skinks. The issue with that strategy, if that's what Rowan's going for, is that his linemen are only armor 8. So if he doesn't manage to wrestle or knock Johnny's source to the ground, they're going to have a much better time punching through Rowan's armor on his linemen than he will on his knights, because they are armor 9 and the Grail Knights are actually armor 10 as well. So that's going to be an interesting dynamic. Which lineup will Rowan go for? Does he want to throw his knights against Johnny's source, or is he going to trust in his squires to hold up the source and his knights can go after the main prize in the skink and the ball? It'll be an interesting dynamic to see. Johnny, for his part, he's just going to want to front up, create a solid line with his source that he hopes Rowan won't be able to break through. Move that up with his movement 6, he'll be able to move quite a bit, and use his skink to go and grab the ball when it's on the deck or rush through lines when they have the ball and get those touchdowns. It's going to be a really interesting dynamic. Johnny's going to be playing more of a ground-based game when he's got the ball, just running through lines with his skink, and Rowan may opt for a little bit of a passing game as he does have that in his arsenal. How do you guys think this one's going to go though? Let me know in the comments. The game will be coming out this week, later this week, so you'll get to see it very soon. But before then, get in your bets. How do you think this is going to match up? Do you think the Swords are going to be able to outpunch against the Bretonnians? Or do you think the Bretonnians will be able to wrestle and block them to the ground and free up some space to go target those skinks? What do you think is going to happen? How do you think it's going to unfold? I can't wait. We'll be there by the end of the week. We'll be watching that game, having a great time, and I'll see you all there very, very soon.